No good meal is complete without a great dessert. And did you know you can grill sweet items, not just savory? In this chapter, I'm gonna teach you how to make my grilled skillet brownies. That's right, brownies, with warm grilled berries and vanilla ice cream. In this recipe, I'm gonna be using indirect heat, which means I will be cooking my dessert next to the flame, next to the burner, not directly on it. So I'm turning my grill into an oven. And I'm gonna be using a cast iron skillet and a grill basket. It's really easy, it's really delicious, and it's always a crowd favorite. All right, we're gonna start off by lighting our grill. So I'm using a gas grill for this. It's a little bit easier to do skillet brownies, skillet chocolate chip cookies, things like that on a gas grill because I can really control the temperature. So indirect heat, I'm gonna only turn on 2 of my burners, and I'm gonna leave this one off over here because that's where my skillet will cook basically the entire time. I'm turning my grill literally into an oven. I mean, anytime it's closed, it's an oven, but this way I really get that heat that goes around, and I'm not gonna scald the bottom of my skillet if I put it directly on the flame. We're gonna start, like I said, just these 2 burners. So if you have a 2-burner grill, just light one side. I actually tried it before with just lighting one side and it didn't get hot enough, so 2 works for me. You want it around 325, 350. So close it, check your temperature gauge. While this comes up to heat, let's start making our brownie batter. We're gonna start with our dry ingredients because we're gonna be adding our dry ingredients into our wet. So to a small bowl, I'm gonna add 1 cup of AP flour, or you could use gluten-free flour, 2 teaspoons of espresso powder, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and then half a teaspoon of fine sea salt. Just whisk that up. You always want to mix your dry ingredients so everything's incorporated and you don't get a little pocket of baking soda. Good to go. Into a large bowl, I'm going to add my melted chocolate and butter. And I like to use a dark chocolate. I guess you could use a milk chocolate, but I love dark chocolate. So chocolate, butter in. I'm going to add my eggs. My one thing with eggs is whenever I'm gonna add them to something, I wanna crack them in a bowl on the side just in case I get a little bit of shell. I don't wanna fish around for it in my bowl. Just crack it in and then add it. When you are baking, you do want your eggs to be room temp. You don't wanna add like cold eggs directly in, just so it incorporates a little easier. Eggs are in, let's add 1 cup of granulated sugar. So when you have brownies and they have that crinkly, shiny top, that's from granulated sugar. But I also like brown sugar, so I add 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar and vanilla extract, about a tablespoon. Let's whisk it up. And you just wanna make sure everything's mixed together. You no longer see any egg bits. So my wet's ready, let's add in our dry. Let's whisk it together. And if it gets too thick, you can switch back to the spatula. But I just wanna mix it until all of the flour has incorporated into the batter. I don't wanna see any flour bits. It's quite loose batter. It's not super thick. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of my whisk. And now let's add in 1 cup of dark chocolate chips. I like to add chips into my batter, and I'm also gonna top it with chocolate chips. Stir those in. I wanna just eat this as is. All right, my batter's ready. Let's grab our cast iron skillet. So I have a 10-inch cast iron skillet. And I've already sprayed it with cooking spray, and I used a vegetable oil with a high smoke point. So that's already greased for me. Let's pour in our batter. Oh, baby. All right, batter's in. Let's top it with some more chocolate chips because why not? Just sprinkle them on top. And then I like to finish it with a little flaked sea salt. I think it adds a nice crunch, and I love salted desserts. Salted brown butter chocolate chips, salted brownies. just a large pinch, as much as you want, or as little, or you can omit it. If you don't want to add it, you don't have to add it. And I'm adding the salt before I bake it so it bakes into it. If I added it when it just came off, it'd probably fall off my brownie. So this kind of bakes in, or grills in. It grills into my brownie skillet. Let's check our grill. Again, right around 350, 375. Let's add our skillet to the cool side, the indirect heat. And I'm gonna cook it closed like this for about 20, 25 minutes. And then I'm gonna come in, pop it open, and I'm literally gonna spin it like this, because this side of the skillet will get a little bit more cooked because it's closer to the flame. So then I'll want to rotate it so the other side gets cooked evenly, kind of like you do with baking in an oven. You always kind of want to spin your cookies or whatever you're baking so it bakes evenly. So again, I'm cooking it on indirect heat because if I put it directly over the flames, the bottom would probably just burn on me and the top would stay molten and raw. So this just makes it nice and even, steady cooking, and I don't have to worry about burning it. So I'm gonna check this after 20, 25 minutes, and then I'm gonna cook it another 20, 25 minutes until the edges are nice and crispy and set. And when you insert a toothpick in the middle, it comes out clean. So my skillet brownie has been cooking for about 45 minutes, so let's take a peek. What you're looking for is you want the edges to be a little crispy and set. It should be puffed up in the center, but when in doubt, use a toothpick, insert it in the middle, and it should come out clean. You shouldn't have any batter left on the toothpick. Let's take this off carefully. Oh my God, this looks insane. So good. I'm gonna turn my grill up to high, my 2 burners. While this rests and cools a little bit because it is hot, 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 we're gonna work on the grilled berries. So what you need for this is a grill basket. There's all different shapes and sizes. This one happens to be round. They have ones that are square, rectangle. This also has a handle on it, which is really nice because it's like a skillet, a perforated skillet for your grill. Before you get started, you wanna make sure to spray it with some cooking spray. High smoke point cooking spray. And then while our grill preheats, I'm gonna pop it on. I just wanna make sure I put my grill basket on the grill so it comes up to heat. I want my berries to sizzle when they hit that grill basket. If you don't have one, you could use a cast iron skillet. I've even seen people do like a little foil technique. I like the grill basket because it's directly on the flame, so I get a little bit of that char. It's perforated, so like the flames can hit it. So that's personally why I like to do it, and it warms it through. And it's like a berry sauce, mashed warm berries. My mouth started watering when I was talking about it. So I'm gonna let that come up to heat and let me grab my berries. So I am using about 1.5 cups of raspberries, a cup of blackberries, and a cup of blueberries. And then I'm gonna invite Berry Manilow over and Berry White. We're just gonna have a berry party, you know what I mean? We're gonna get weird. We're making a skillet brownie, man. Come on over. If you don't like any of these berries, they're my favorite. You could do strawberries. You could do grapes. I've grilled grapes before. You could do a mixture of any of these. So it's up to you. Let's check on our grill basket. Looks ready to go. So let's add in our berries. Grill baskets are a great tool to have, not just for berries, but for small veggies. So if you're doing like cut zucchini or, hear that sizzle? Cut zucchini, shrimp, anything that might fall through your grates that you're chasing around your grill, a grill basket is great for that. Add in our raspberries. We're literally cooking this for a couple minutes, just until the berries turn a dark color and they start to burst. I don't want them to become mush. So just be careful with the handle. Whenever you move it, I like to give it a little shake to move things around and let it sit. You don't need to close and open it. You can just leave it open as is. Our temp is super high. If I close it, it might make them a little soggy. So I want them to have their shape still, which is why I'm not sauteing them down into, say, like a compote or anything like that. I still want them to hold their shape. Just a minute or two, and then I'll pop these off. Can you guys see how they like kind of have broken down a little bit? They look really pretty. The raspberries kind of break down first. The blueberries will hold their shape. It smells so good. You know when you make like, reminds me of my grandma making a crumble or a cobbler, and I'm like, or a pie. That like caramelized berry. So good. All right, these look great, so let's take them off. And you want to put this on a sheet tray or something heat-proof because it's really, really hot and it's also gonna leak some of those berries, so just be careful. I'm gonna actually move this handle away from me. Okay, so the berries should still hold their shape. They should be nice and bright and like kind of have a little bit of a shine on them. Looks delicious. Okay, so my berries are ready to go. My skillet brownie has cooled down slightly because if I just add ice cream directly to it, we'll have cream. Just pour some cream on top. I'm gonna grab my ice cream. You wanna keep this in the freezer for as long as possible, especially on crazy hot days like this, because again, it'll melt. Common sense, right? Keep it in the freezer until you need it. Ice cream scoop. You can serve this like how I'm gonna show you family style, or you can portion out individual scoops of the brownie and then a scoop of ice cream and the berries. It's up to you. I think it looks really pretty when you bring this out. And say you grilled your dinner, you did like kebabs or burgers or whatever, pop this on so while you're eating dinner, it's baking, and then by the time you're done, you have warm brownie skillet ready to go, right? You don't have to go inside, you don't have to turn on the oven. Eating dinner, skillet's ready. So just pile up probably 45 scoops of ice cream, and then you're ready. No, that looks good to me. Let's grab some of our berries. You guys, come on. I wish you could smell how incredible this smells. And I think it's just a cool way to use a grill basket, and when you're like, I grilled the berries, they're like, what? You're crazy. And you're like, I know, but it's delicious. Just warms them through, caramelizes them a little bit. Perfect. So we have the crispy, crunchy, ooey gooey chocolate brownie underneath, piled high with vanilla ice cream that's literally melting everywhere, but I'm super into it. And then the grilled warm berries. So you get something a little chocolatey, a little salty, creamy, berry. It's everything I want in a dessert. So I'm gonna sneak a little taste. And by little, I mean I am not skimping. Get out. You guys ready for this? It is so good. The brownie is like molten chocolate, but also chewy. That ice cream is so nice and creamy. The berries just like burst in your mouth when you take a bite. Are you kidding me? This is the perfect dessert. And it was so easy to make. I hope you guys make this one. Woo! I'm going back in. In this chapter, we talked about turning your grill into an oven using indirect versus direct heat. I also showed you how easy it is to use a cast iron skillet on your grill as well as a grill basket. I hope you enjoyed this grilled skillet brownie as much as I did, and you're left with some techniques to feel more confident on the grill and try grilling a dessert for your next barbecue. Give it a try. See you guys.